Hey, what's up? It's Greg from Fish from Headquarters, and today is Friday, the 13th, September 13th. I'm up here in the Mid-Island Surf, Long Beach Island, here to share an updated fish report with you folks. If you've been out and about, you've been enjoying some awesome weather, so hopefully you get some good fishing as well. Right now off the Long Beach Island Surf, we've got some fluke action. There's also some bluefish and kingfish. In the bay side, we got blowfish and spot. There's also a few weak fish around. Seems to be the mullet run's been pretty good, pretty strong since the last report. I mentioned it before, the mullet run was getting going, and that last little weather pattern that we had might jumpstart some things in the moon earlier this month, and sure enough it did. We had a really good mullet run so far, say the first half of September. With the mullet, there's lots of bluefish. Bluefish has been really, really good in certain areas along the beachfront, also in the bay, and also the inlet. The action continues with the albacore, false albacore, bonita, some Spanish mackerel, all those little hardtails, those fork tails that are in the area. Lots of fun on light tackle. Hopefully we can get in on that action. That action's been taking place up along the beach of Long Beach Island, also Island Beach State Park. Fishing some small lures. If you tack back to one of my recent reports, I got some details in that regard. I just tossed up a mullet run blog to help out anglers that are looking to get in the action with the mullet run right now. Normally it kicks off early May, depending on what the moon is, normally the first, second week, early September, normally the first or second week, depending on the moon, and it lasts throughout the month of September, sometimes into October, sometimes all of October, sometimes it's only a month or two, or sometimes it's only a week or two, sometimes it's a month or two. For more information on the mullet run and how I suggest approaching it, whether you want to fish with bait or if you want to fish with lures, check out that post, just threw it up there earlier this morning on fishinglbi.com. Get a little bit of information in regards to, say, a mullet rig. A classic, say, skewer style mullet rig with a double fang hook, or with a simple chunk rig with a float, high-low, how you can fish a whole mullet, how you can fish chunks, how you can fish strips, and also some lures. I also threw a link to a mullet run blog that I threw up a number of years back. It's probably 3, 4, 5 years old, but it's just as valid today as it was then. So hopefully that brings some value to you on the lure front, some top lures I like to fish during the mullet run. So right now, like I mentioned, you got Fluke off the surf. If you've been paying attention to the Fisherman's Headquarters social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, threw a picture and a video up of Professor Fishhead. He's a science teacher at a local high school. Dave Warner. They go up on the surf front and they do a beach seine regularly in kind of science class. They do some dissections and whatnot. They had a 11.5-pound fluke they caught just a couple days ago. So some good quality fluke off the beach still. Definitely a lot of shorts for sure, but they seined up a good one. So it's good to see that there's some nice fluke up along the beach front. Normally around the mullet run, late September or all of September, the mullet's moving down the beach, fluke are there and they're feasting on them just like the bluefish. There's also striped bass. Last report I mentioned a couple striped bass around. Definitely few and far between, but there's a few of them getting picked, and I think a little bit, we should expect a little better striped bass action here in the next few days, next couple weeks. We got some onshore breezes right now, so that's good. Puts a little wave in the little wave action in the water. As you see behind me, surf's clean, very, very clean. Water's still warm, right around the 70-degree mark. Maybe a little warmer, a little colder in some areas by a degree or two. The bay is definitely cooling off. Days are getting shorter. Had some cooler weather. Today it's hot and humid and sunny out here, but we did have some cooler days. Days are getting shorter, nights are getting longer. Expect the bay temperatures to drop. We start getting some really, really good back bay light tackle striped bass action in the month of September, and that also transitions into October and then the fall run. Hopefully we'll start seeing some better quality striped bass showing up here in the next couple weeks. Some years early October can be good. Some years it can be slow. I guess it was a year or two back, we had a really, really good early October run. So if you're looking to get in on that action, make sure you're ready and geared up now. Stop by Fisherman's Headquarters so we can get you in the game. I mentioned the blowfish and spot. Definitely spot seems to be a little bit of a decline, but now's a great time to gobble them up, put them in the live pen, and put them in action, say, come fall time. I think fall starts October 22nd, so it's about, say, 10 days-ish away. Blowfish action seems to be improving the last couple weeks compared to earlier this summer. Summer was pretty pitiful in that regard. I mentioned kingfish. You want to get out there with live bloodworms and also fish bites. You could also use bait fuel artificial bloodworms, gulp artificial bloodworms if you don't want to fish the live bloods, but live bloods are best. I tend to suggest to customers that are heading out to fish both. Bring artificial and bring live. Get a little more longevity out of the bloodworms. Live bloodworms are expensive. Sometimes they're hard to get. We got them right now. That would be mostly for beachfront, but if you want to fish those live bloods in the bay, you'll catch blowfish, you'll be able to catch some kingfish in the bay, and also some weak fish and spot. Once again, small hook, either bay or ocean, you should be catching some fish on the worms or artificial worms. In the inlet, like I mentioned, mullet run, you got fluke action. Has been albies at times, bluefish, striped bass, and tog. Tog fishing is consistent up there. Finding bigger fish keepers has still been somewhat hard since it opened up. I think as we transition through this month, those cooler water temperatures may have a little better action with the bigger fish. Hopefully that happens. We'll see how that plays out. But tog fishing right now is good, active, fun fishing to take place or to get into. Good opportunity for y'all. You can fish a jig or a rig. You want to be fishing sand fleas, green crabs, or if you catch your own crabs, sand fleas, Asian crab, the shore crabs. Lots of different options in that regard. Get up to the rocks, fish in the structure. Slower moving water, I like to cast out a little bit, fish those rocks that are, say, out maybe 5, 10, 20, 30 feet out. When the water is more swift, the current's really pulling hard. Fish closer in, fish more vertical in the rock structures, find those holes, find those nooks and crannies, and you'll find some good fishing action. Hopefully that tip helps you out. Casting out when there's a good hard sweep with the current, most of the time that's going to result in snags, losing up of rigs, frustration. Try to stay away from that and you'll have some fun tog fishing. I can share today, I did hear a report from one of the local reef sites. Dave, Bucket Guy Dave, shared a video, beautiful fluke he caught. I think he said it was 23 inches.
Hey fellas, hope you're having a good Friday. Just caught a fat flounder. He's about 23 inches, maybe 5 pounds. We'll weigh him when we get back, but he was good. He actually ate his spot. All right, fellas, have a good one.
I think the last report I shared, I was at the Barnegat Light Reef. That was good fishing for me. I think it's still pretty good fishing. I haven't been out last few days. I haven't fished this week. I've been super jammed up at the shop, super jammed up at the house. Got a baby coming any day, and just haven't been running trips more recently here. My little guy just started kindergarten, just had his 5th birthday. I've been I'm full up to my eyebrows with my to-do list, and it just gets longer and longer every day. I did have an awesome seminar just the other day at the Hudson River Association Fishing Club about offshore wind. Share with them a lot of information in regards to what I consider the major risks to offshore wind, so that was awesome. I'm planning on presenting that PowerPoint presentation in a Zoom fashion so I can share that with you all in a more archived fashion so people could check it out. It's not just a one-time event. It could be say maybe a live Zoom maybe I'll do, and I'll record it so I can toss it up here on YouTube. Anybody doesn't know, I've been fighting the offshore wind fight for many, many years. Going back to the fluke fishing, I have not been out recently. When I was out, I shared in the last report, Barnegat Light Reef was good. I've been hearing good reports off Garden State North, Garden State South, Little Egg, AC. Really good fishing taking place on the reefs. Friend Tony Butcher just out the other day, I think that was yesterday, reported catching his limit, some beautiful fish. He mentioned that pink shine was on for him. I just mentioned Bucket Guy Dave a second ago. I believe he was fishing Garden State North. He had a beautiful fish. He said he got it on a live spot. Also said he had some fish on minnows. So it's great to see that the reefs are churning, cranking on high gear right now. A lot of times these fish are leaving the inlets, leaving the bays, going through those inlets. Inlets are a great spot to fish. There's still good fishing in the bay right now. Water hasn't really dropped off significantly, but those fish are exiting. You still got good opportunities in the bay. You want to take advantage of getting into the bay while we got this easterly breeze. Great spot to be fishing. Main thoroughfares, inlet. As those fish leave, inlet's a great spot to fish. We fish them with a rig or a bucktail teaser, say a single hook rig or a high-low rig. Some people call it chicken rig. Fishing gulp, fishing spearing, fishing minnows, fishing squid. Those are all the standards. Really, really good opportunities with any of those approaches. Some people like to fish the bigger spoons out in the reefs. Some people like to fish different rigs and such. Can do all that kind of stuff, fishing whole squid and whatnot. Reefs, the surf, the inlet should be really, really good right into the end of the season, which, if I'm not mistaken, ends on September 25th. Normally, this is my favorite time to fluke fish in the month of September. You got good, strong action with fish moving and also staging up on those structures. Also, you got a good mullet run, got a good bait presence, peanut bunker. You got spearing around. It's the same small micro bait that the albies and the bonita are chasing, and the bluefish. Fluke are also feasting on that as well. So they're active. Warmer water temperatures, warmer bottom water temperatures really get that fishery more active this time of year. Earlier in the season, we got colder bottom temperatures, makes for a much more lethargic bite, much more lethargic movement of these fish, and that means slow fishing for us. So now with the warmer water temperatures, more so warmer bottom water temperatures, we got active fishing. Now is a great time to get in on the action. if you can. I will share a little bit. There's a little bit of a pressure gradient. We got high pressure and demand or in control up here last few days, giving us awesome weather, giving us beautiful conditions. It seems like it's going to stick around up here, but we got a low pressure system further off the Outer Banks, creating a pressure gradient. Some stronger easterly winds down there. They've had extreme erosion so far this summer without even getting hit by any of these, say, hurricanes yet. Hopefully not see any of that go on, but we've got some storms. Things are getting a little more active in the Atlantic. Keep an eye on that. Things are going to be coming up, kind of doing their normal, say, progression to the northern latitudes. Kind of what those storms do is they track to the west across and then up. But we do currently have a pressure gradient, some hard easterly winds that are down there. We might see some more easterlies that we got now, northeasterlies here in a few days. Looks like the weekend's gonna be beautiful. Looks like later in the week things kind of get easterly more consistently day after day, and that progresses throughout the week. Once again, you got to keep your eye on things, see how things progress. But we do have a little pressure gradient, easterly winds. Probably have a little more swell in the water, as you see behind me, 1 to 2, maybe even 3 foot right now. Might be seeing some bigger swell later in the say forecast period after the weekend. Looks like things kind of jack up a little more. Things get a little more squirrely, but that can be awesome for fishing, especially the inlet, especially on the beach. As long as you go and you're prepared for it, but it definitely will, say, limit the conditions or the availability of anglers getting out in the ocean, getting on that good, say, tuna fishing bite. There's been some hot and cold bites reports there. Mahi's been pretty active, good reports there. But fluke fishing's been strong. Albacore, false albies, and bonita have been strong. Hopefully we can still get into them. It doesn't get too rough and close that down. Once again, it's Greg at Fisherman's Headquarters. Hopefully this report has brought some value to you today and in the past, all my other reports. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Be sure to stop on Fisherman's Headquarters and gear up for this upcoming fall. Best of luck fishing. Have a great day.